And welcome back, folks, to the ECA Fragadelphia Cash Cup. We finally reached it, grand finals time, and we got a banger on our hands. One that's been a historical banger of a series. It is the Bad News Bears taking on CHOCOCHECK Gaming, and, well, it turns out I'm Fi, and I'm joined by a lovely lad in Southern California. It's Boggs. Let's go, man.
Oh yeah, let's get this one done. It finally comes down to the grand finals. It is gas money, and it is CHOCOCHECK. This is going to be a series for the ages. You can see the rosters right here. B-Wills, Spongy, and then Swisher, Junior, and Peter. Pete's made his return. He said it would be his last BO3 with Swisher in this sort of environment. Swisher and Junior leaving the team of gas money. So there is that sort of last dance here, and it could not come down to a better final.
Yeah, honestly, it's good to see these two still clashing for a cash cup under, well, okay, we'll say the Bad News Bears banner, but in reality, they're fighting for gas money, and that's why they're named as such. For CHOCOCHECK Gaming, they're showing up for a grand final here. Carson, George, Classia, Pimp. They're surprisingly, in fact, they are losing Exotic in this one. So recently, CJ the King has stepped in, and particularly so, Jazz Pimp was caught opping, at least versus their series against RBG. So big loss there when it comes to at least the players, and I guess the star player for CHOCOCHECK Gaming there. So Jazz Pimp picking up the reins, not terrible, and it wasn't that bad. They took down RBG well, it could have been more convincing fashion.
It definitely could have been cleaner, especially on Mirage. I think going to overtime on Mirage for CHOCOCHECK was definitely a lackluster result for them. This is a team that you expect to dominate on maps like Mirage, where it comes down to the individual skill, but I think the lack of Exotic's op is definitely going to hurt them a lot. He is touted as one of the better oppers in the scene by a lot of the players in this region, so definitely something that we'll have to keep an eye on. That op duel definitely looking to favor gas money for sure. Not just Junior, but also Peter should have the better number of Jazz Pimp in this series. And I think that going into it, Mirage is the opening map. I don't know if we have our vetoes ready or not to throw up on screen, but just to talk about it here, as the team should be starting up pretty quickly. Mirage is the opening map is going to be a little interesting. That was a very close game against RBG. A miscue from RBG that comes down to mine towards the later portion of it, where 3 players scaled in towards CT, did not guard jungle at all. They had a smoke. Smokes aren't walls, folks. What happened? CJ walked through, sprays 3 from behind. Everything goes down money-wise for RBG, and CHOCOCHECK are able to take it to OT and then eventually win.
And even on map number 1, RBG were slated for the comeback. They actually took the lead from down 13-6. They brought it back to 13-14. But then a surprise Tech-9 B rush actually got them onto the B side of Inferno, and through that, they closed out the game and ended Inferno 16-14, stopping the comeback. Both of these maps were incredibly close, where RBG were mustering a comeback, or CHOCOCHECK had to muster a comeback of their own. Both of these games were a nice edge. It could have gone 2-0 the other way, and RBG could be here right now, but instead, it is CHOCOCHECK. And what I did see from these guys is their typical selves. They are on fire individually. They do not miss a shot if you give them the chance. And that is the most dangerous thing about this team, is that if you give them just a millisecond, they will multi-kill you, they will get a man advantage, and they will take your bomb site.
Yeah, they are a team that's basically all firepower. It is essentially Aim Star City on CHOCOCHECK, and there's not much else to it. They're quite prone to burning through their utility early, not really using it, but more just using it for the sake of getting rid of it. And you can take advantage of that lack of utility discipline, but it doesn't even matter when they don't have utility, because they can still out-aim you. From any position, any map, Mirage is definitely their home, but even on a map like Overpass or Inferno as a decider, it's not going to be an easy day for you whatsoever. I think Overpass will be a little smoother for gas money here. I think that'll be one where they can maybe ease off the gas a little bit, but Mirage is going to be, I think, the one where it decides the series, and it'll decide the momentum and the pace of the series for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a burning hot map, considering you also have individuals on the other side of that coin. I think Junior, now without Exotic on the other end of things, is by far and away the top opper in the server alongside Peter. We talked about the double op setup all day. It's the first opponent that Bad News Bears have faced off against that doesn't have a real nasty double op setup, it feels. So now you're missing Exotic, and you only really have Jasmine. And while he didn't look terrible on the op, he was serviceable on the AWP. You have two former stars, basically for BNB. Well, former stars, as I say, they're not really part of the team anymore. Just saying. But so
you're not supposed to leak that.
Whoa! I mean, there hasn't been articles published about it. Like, come on. Guys, I'm totally leaking information that's not already public. But Junior's rumored to make his departure. Peter's kind of stepping in as, you know, he's trying to get gas money for his boy Swisha. So that's how it crumbles at the end of the day. But they have a double op setup to work with on Mirage, and I expect a very scary CT side out of them.
Oh yeah, I think the CT side is going to be where they can make their money in that sense. I think it's going to be their trendsetter, and they should be starting off on the CT side as well, given the fact that it's CHOCOCHECK's pick. So it is where they can build up that momentum early, but they do have to be careful. They do have to be very careful not to get caught out by very fast, aggressive plays from CHOCOCHECK, because if you've watched CHOCOCHECK before, you'll understand exactly what I'm going to say. They don't necessarily think through things. They kind of just play on whims. And what you would expect them to do is a lot of the time not what they do at all.
Right. They look very much at the situation and say, okay, what can I do in this situation? Where when it comes to pushing a smoke, when you hear a lot of footsteps come by, it's a lot of very snap individual decisions that are unexpected. They catch lots of teams off guard, and when you have such skilled individuals like that, just let them run free. In all honesty, it's worked against some of the best teams in the region. You sometimes don't think about it, but really, they are running a lot on instinct. They can organize themselves into an execute. It's not just but sometimes people have referred to like the old MIBR as this kind of style where you just put players all across the map, 1-1-1-1-1, and just have them take your fight basically and win it. And you basically just play off of your instincts, and sometimes that's better because it's no snap decisions in that particular sense. It's no, you don't have to try and reel in your troops. You can just let your godlike individuals take over the game.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely is something they can rely on, but it does become a bit of a crutch as well, especially when you get into the situations where you do need to use your brain a little bit more. And against a team like Gas Money, a team with a lot of individual skill in its own right, I think it does kind of level things out in terms of the individual skill, where you're going to need a little more of your brain to be able to counter. It's not going to be, you can't just go boom, 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 punch each other and just expect to win that. It's going to be a coin flip at best. And considering how smart the guys are on Gas Money all across the lineup, you are going to get caught out, you are going to get exposed, and you are going to get outplayed.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to dodge the haymakers if you are Gas Money instead of trying to throw haymakers back. So we'll see what the strategy involves it for Gas Money, because you keep trying to go, if you go blow for blow versus CHOCOCHECK, you are going to lose. I think that is a straight up fact, and that is if you try to play CHOCOCHECK's game, you're going to fall into just losing your duels, and you're going to get a close grind of a game where we're going to see big plays back and forth. I think that's without saying. But maybe for Gas Money, if they can pump the brakes just a little bit and say, okay, well, they're just going to do this, just sidestep, get a good crossfire going, and then you could just simply juke out CHOCOCHECK and break their ankles in a way, send them skittering, and then that's where you look much smarter and make CHOCOCHECK look silly at times. That's how you just can't play CHOCOCHECK's game if you are Gas Money. But CHOCOCHECK, I mean, sometimes at some point, someone's going to find an opportunity to find a big multi-kill. I think that goes without saying.
Oh yeah, I mean, you can't just run it up the gut against CHOCOCHECK. You have to make that hole, and you have to split through it. Maybe break an ankle or two in the secondary before you can take it to the house. It's not going to be something where you can just go head on and run with the fridge up the middle and hope it works. It's not goal line offense.
Right.
Here, this is you're starting from your own 25 and you're having to take it all the way down to the end zone. You cannot just go head on at them. They will be able to counter you, and they might even force a fumble or two. So for CHOCOCHECK, they are a team that knows what they're good at, and what they're good at is shooting at and beating you at the aim game. And, well, they probably do know that their weakness is definitely in terms of strategy and technical. skill and technical in the sense of strategy and team play and coordination.
Mhm.
They're not a team that's going to beat you with the fundamentals of Counter-Strike. They're just going to run at you and try and style on you. But there are good ways to beat that. Definitely slowing down the pace, I think, is going to be good for gas money. And I think, too, not getting overwhelmed by some of those plays that are inevitable.
Right.
You'll get those massive 2, 3, 4Ks, maybe a big clutch or two coming through here. Just don't get rattled by it, let it go by, and just get back into your own game.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's going to be a certainty. That is what CHOCOCHECK deliver is just massive individual efforts. You're going to see a big multi-kill. When Exotic was on this team, you could basically, it goes without saying that he would give you an ace every map. No matter what his scoreline would be at the end of the day, he would have 5 kills on that scoreboard, maybe a 4K, all right, if we're being realistic here. But some CHOCOCHECK players are just able to deliver just some incredible rounds, just no matter what your fundamentals are. They're able to stand in the molly, fight, get 2 somehow.
Yep.
They will make you mad as a player and as a viewer sometimes. So it's that's just the inevitability, and that's why CHOCOCHECK is an entertaining team to watch. Is you'll just see them just hit an insane flick, and you're like, dang, I wish I had aim like that. But
yeah,
at the end of the day, BNB, or Gas Money, as we will call them today, they're all former BNB players. Like, come on, let's stop ignoring the truth here, okay? But in any case, I think BNB should be able to find a way to sidestep it, considering I think you have such experienced individuals like Peter.
Yeah, Peter, Spongy, Swisher, all very cerebral players in their own right. And B-Wills as well. I think he doesn't get the credit he deserves as a very smart player, too. There's brains all up and down this lineup, and I think that is their biggest weapon, especially going into this one. So, if they can stick to what they can do that CHOCOCHECK can't, which is fundamental Counter-Strike, which is the basics of team play and coordination, these are all pretty much former or current teammates. They will be more than fine here. I think Mirage is just going to be a map, as it always is, that can always just go one way or the other when you have 2 evenly placed teams, which is one of the reasons why it doesn't get played too much at the higher levels, because it is such a gamble.
Yeah, it feels like everyone kind of, I think Mirage is just an instinctually ingrained map in players, and I think that's why it benefits a team like CHOCOCHECK, who are playing more off of touch than anything for their style of CS. They're more or less, you've remarked about how CJ was able to exploit a mistake of RBG's investing too many players towards the A site as they were trying to run up and execute upon it. So CJ was able to just catch 3 players looking the wrong way, because it's more based on touch. Would you normally take that kind of risk when that risk could lose you the round potentially? Probably not. But the surprise factor CHOCOCHECK bring on a map like Mirage, where they understand player tendencies, when you've played it so much, you kind of understand how players typically think in that situation. That's what really governs their activities, and makes plays what seem silly sometimes work.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of their plays, too, are just able to be made because of their raw individual skill. These are guys that can hit shots that you would never expect to even be attempted, and I feel like they just don't care. They're just, all right, yeah, I'm going to do this, and it's going to work, because why not? Treat everything like you're just having fun in a pug, and you will hit those crazy shots just because of the raw amount of time you try it, too. And the confidence will continue to build off of that. You can't really allow CHOCOCHECK to get confident. I think that's where CHOCOCHECK really makes their money in that sense, is when they do get that confidence going. They are a very hard one to stop, but when they're not allowed to get going, they can be squelched. They can be held back. They can be stalled. And one of the best ways to do that is by not letting them just take fights. Deny their space with utility. Or, if they do want to take a fight, you have somebody there either for the trade or a double peek. They're maybe going to get one, and if you do it right, they're going to get none.
Yeah, it's about dodging the haymaker, is exactly that. Sometimes you just have to sidestep the full-on aggression, the opening stage of the round, and then when it heads, if the round gets into a mid round, that's where you can do your best work versus CHOCOCHECK. So that's where you're gonna have to thrive. The opening stages of the rounds are completely governed by CHOCOCHECK, but when it comes to the mid rounds, the typical tendencies begin to branch out a little bit, and then it goes into unknown territory. It's like a chess game where sometimes moves are played in a typical theoretical manner, but at the end of the day, you're gonna play a move that's never been played before at the top level, and you're gonna be in uncharted territory, so to speak. You're gonna be out of book, as chess players think. Yeah, guys, I'm smart. I play chess, but it really is like that. And so when CHOCOCHECK are out of their book, that's when you can capitalize as a team.
Yeah. CHOCOCHECK might be better suited to playing some chess.
Yeah. We also have we can take a look at how our bracket panned out as well. So just this review, because we actually haven't really talked about this. Bad News Bears also took down Strife really convincingly, and I think that's good to talk about how that matchup went down.
Yeah, Gas Money did have a very strong opening map, although Strife did start out 5-0 on Inferno. They got completely dominated. It was a string of rounds that was only interrupted by a pistol round victory for Strife in that second half. That Gas Money just ran the gambit on them. And Strife were never really allowed to get anything done on Inferno. Overpass was a lot closer of an affair, 16-11 if memory serves me right, but even then, they just got stonewalled by a great defense of the Bad News Bears. Let's be honest. Let's just use it interchangeably at this point.
Yeah.
Gas Money were able to get themselves a spot in the final after a little bit of a hard-fought win.
Yeah, I think, and just considering that, Strife got, 4 for 4 in pistols in that series, and in all reality, didn't really show too much gusto. We did talk about that CT side, but in general, their overpass CT side was rock solid. Their T side has always, statistically, left something to be desired. So, in all, the way that overpass panned out wasn't really that surprising. So, Gas Money just found the way to really establish themselves. We were seeing, again, the talent show is what I'd like to refer it as, where every player had a moment to shine for Gas Money, whether it be Spongy on a side hold, Swisher with a mid-round multi-kill, or Junior with a non-stop train of openers. It's really... At every stage of the game, Bad News Bears were able to dominate over Strife, and well, CHOCOCHECK is a little bit of a different team where they definitely own one section of the round, and that is that opening stage. Maybe, probably, at least on paper, Gas Money should be able to prevail on other sections of it.
Yeah, you would expect them to get the late and mid rounds definitely in their favor, and I don't necessarily think that they will be outclassed fully in the opening stages of rounds. I think they'll be able to put up a fight. They'll be able to do a good amount of work here, but it just seems that it really will be decided by if Bad News Bears let CHOCOCHECK play free or not. That's really what it's going to come down to. And also, mental fatigue. Both these two teams play, this is going to be their third best of 3 of the day.
Yeah.
CHOCOCHECK did have a pretty rough opener, if I actually know it was RBG had the rough opener. But still, rough series against RBG, CHOCOCHECK, with that overtime win. And not exactly the cleanest of wins, very messy, if anything. Definitely not one they'll be proud of and one they'll want to remember. So maybe there's a little bit of mental fatigue there. Gas Money had a bit of a break, about an hour and a half or so, as we still wait for the team to ready up. And it's... Okay, there we go. Ask and I shall receive.
Let's go.
There we go. I just had to say it, and they start. Wait, did I just cast your start game?
Oh, he might have just did, because CHOCOCHECK have finally readied up, and we should be getting into game very momentarily, within the next couple of seconds. But I will say, okay, let's be real. CHOCOCHECK, they like their breaks. They like their time between games. They deserve it. They had a bit of a grind of a series in all reality. But finally, we're gonna hop into it shortly. Okay,
maybe
trademark.
Not. Okay,
all right,
there we go.
Finally, there we go, folks. We're in it. Pistol round is on the way. Believe it or not, we have made it to Mirage, where we're gonna be taking this one away. Actually, pistol round has already gone down. So, even production didn't really expect it. So, we're all good. We're chilling. As now we're already back into game. As well, we see Gas Money has taken in the pistol round, but it's an eco that's going to be taken from CHOCOCHECK. Start this one off.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're not going for a full investment here. They're a team that does like to force. They're very good with the pistols. They will have a couple deagles, but they're not going to go for something too heavy. George is going to get caught out first. Nade will eliminate Jazz Pimp. Classy falls as well. Pretty standard mop-up job in the early going right now from Gas Money. There's one left on site, and that is going... Wait, Exotic's in here? Since when did Exotic get here?
Exotic has arrived. Oh, man, and there we go. Exotic has arrived. I think that's why there was a bit of a delay. Exotic is in for CJ the King. And I believe Cat is Carson in this particular one. So
that should be Carson. Or maybe it's CJ and Carson's out. Who knows?
All right, starting this one off. Already switcher with a nice opening kill straight onto George. Traded back, though, as Junior did actually go for some palace aggression to kick this one off. So tough luck there. We'll be able to actually change out for an M4, maybe shuffle that away, toss that out of the map is Jasmine. But a 4-on-4, and again, we're going to talk about this. How will CHOCOCHECK maneuver themselves in a round like this?
They have the firepower advantage. That's something they have to know. And the M4 has been shuffled further back in Palace, something that Spongie's trying to recover. I don't know if he will be able to grab that gun. He's also getting control, but I don't know how far that M4 has been moved. And another thing is, can he get the backstab? Because it is an A split, 2 through con, 1 through ramp. And Spongie can get if the information's here by B-Wills. He's up on top of Ticket. That's very exposed. He's gone. He's been caught out. Swisher has a lot of work to do here. Peter's way too far away. And with the MP9, it's not really going to work out too well for him. Spongie is the key player.
He is the key player. He could be good for 2. He spots out the first. That's a little bit messy. Players up close. Has to deal with this next one. Spam through the smoke. Drops Jazz Pimp low. And Swisher's going to get the kill instead. Just leaving Carson. Playing from Sandwich. 1v3. Smoke goes on the bomb, but are they ready for where Carson's playing from? They have not checked him. Now they will. Spray, no good. Defuse will come in. Kits available. Aplenty, in fact. And that will be 3-0 for Gas Money.
Great start for Gas Money. And they win the bonus round, more importantly. This is a fantastic start on the CT side of things. It is more of a CT-sided map still, and CHOCOCHECK definitely more of a CT-sided team on this map. But it's a very strong start, especially winning the bonus round from a very unfavorable situation. That Spongie play got all the information, though. That was the key play out of all of that round. Without that, CHOCOCHECK win it. It's a 2-1 scoreline. Bad News Bears have to go on a full investment to the next one, maybe a little bit light on utility or firepower because of it, but instead they get an opportunity to really build up a little more bank. They do lose 3 players, but they can reinvest. They'll grab a couple AKs. The bomb plant, though, means that CHOCOCHECK can get another investment, and they will do just that, but the op is in the hands of Junior. Both he and Spongie have a decent amount of residual cash. Nobody else really does. Swisher kind of in that yellow-orange zone where he could go for a buy. He also could not. But as it stands, this is a round for CHOCOCHECK where they can try and get a little bit of pressure here against Gas Money.
Yeah, this is the round that we're looking for CHOCOCHECK. All AKs still lethal. And here you go. Exactly what CHOCOCHECK's made of. As a smoke fade, Jazz Pimp sprays down 2 with immaculate precision. Swisher, though, wants to make his own sort of play through the smoke. Oh, yeah, you got to play CHOCOCHECK's game if you're playing versus CHOCOCHECK. 2v3 and make that one. Glacia in a 1v3.
Dude, you ran up to triple right there, Carson.
Let's see.
That was a free frag.
Oh, Glacia.
Very accurate comms right
there we go. And Swisher finishes the job. Yeah, we got a little bit of comms in there. It's all good. You know, at the end of the day, Swisher, I love him swinging through the smoke. He's playing CHOCOCHECK's game when he's playing against them. I mean...
Yeah. He also had the swing from Cat, too, which makes it a little better than what you normally expect from CHOCOCHECK. He had that coordination, the comms. He's like, all right, I'm going to take the fight here. You swing, get the kills, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah, I think, and CHOCOCHECK weren't expecting it. So
no.
I'm already liking what I'm seeing from Swisher. Like, he knows what he needs to do at the moment. And currently, I mean, being up 4-0 is no easy feat. to start this one off. And now
Jaspimp's on a hero rifle? What?
do what you can do. If he gets one kill, that's more guns available and deagles for everyone, of course, because yeah, CHOCOCHECK can use those guns too.
This is a very CHOCOCHECK play. I don't like it. I feel like just keep your money even. There's no reason to force. It's not like the money on gas money's even that low. It's kind of a, I guess, maybe a misbuy, if anything. It's a good trade. And actually, Carson and Classy pick up a couple more. This is actually turning really bad for Bad News Bears. Peter needs to really reestablish control. But that, oh, it's messy, but he still converts it. Carson's 6 HP. Back through apartments. The bomb's down in middle. And they've given it up, gas money. They've completely abandoned the objective here, instead to go towards the extremities. And they might get Junior blindsided here. Carson is... Well, Junior is just sitting under... He's gone into scaffolding. Is he going to have his pistol out?
Oh, yeah, he is. Yep. USP's out. Carson should be gone here. Oh, you know, if you gave Carson an extra second there, I wouldn't be surprised if he spins. But
yeah,
low HP, finishes the job, clean as ever. Well, as you can really get versus CHOCOCHECK, because they'll always get some damage in. And it's 5-0 for gas money. They'll work with that. B-Will's cash isn't fantastic going into a full gun round. But all in all, not too big an issue for the CT side of the moment. This is what we're looking for Bad News Bears to extend. CHOCOCHECK have a mean CT side of themselves, especially considering Exotic is in the server. So they're going to need to get every round they can get versus CHOCOCHECK.
Yeah, now that op duel between Exotic and Junior becomes a little more tantalizing. It's a very solid offers duel at this point, and I'm excited to actually see it come through in this matchup. I think it's going to be a very solid one between the two. And having Exotic here in the final is a completely different look for CHOCOCHECK. It completely changes the game here, I think, for them. But he's not really been able to activate just yet. I think on the CT side of things it would be better still, though. Gas Money controlling the bulk of the play. Swisher trying to get some mid control. Gets spotted out. B as well. Drops down, demolished by George.
Yup.
Classia pops another brain. Swisher next in line. The individual gunfights go in the way of CHOCOCHECK. Junior, however, will stabilize. Exotic gets on the board. And it's all down to the lone opper of Gas Money. Not much you can do here. He'll try and save, or maybe he'll try and go for the 1v4? Well then, Junior. Get it, son.
I'm just saying, that round is Bad News Bears playing CHOCOCHECK's game. They're swinging for the fences, and that's what CHOCOCHECK want. In a way. Bit telegraphed there from BNB. CHOCOCHECK were ready for it through and through. And so Junior, he is trapped in towards CT. I don't think he's getting away from this one.
Yeah, there's two players honing in on his position. There's nowhere for him to go. He goes on bricks. He's dead either way. There's another player who can fast rotate in from the B site and mark it. It's going to be Jaspimp, so there's really nowhere for Junior to escape to. It's just a matter of time before he inevitably gets killed. He comes in. It's not even a kill. It's a wall bang. He misses the subsequent no-scope. Not gonna be enough. First round of the board finally achieved for CHOCOCHECK, and the money for Gas Money is not exactly great. They might go for a buy here. I think it should be a half buy, though. Don't go for the full investment. Just go for a half. You have rounds to play with, and a timeout has been called. I'm not sure if it's a tactical or a technical. Can't really tell here. But as it stands, either way, I would assume it's from Gas Money because they could use the slowdown.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, that was definitely a tactical timeout called in. Interesting, because Junior does have enough to buy himself maybe a glass cannon. He could go for the full investment, but we'll go for a scout. Almost equally serviceable on that weapon, so we'll see what he can get, what guns he can drop, especially for his fellow teammates. Maybe they can scrounge something together on a round like this. Already making the cat jump! Flashes! Everyone's blind, but Exotic sure isn't. He's just running through. He's just entering the site. He just triple entry the entirety of the A site, just running around, quick scoping everybody. Dry as well, without even a single flash. They do that, and CHOCOCHECK are just hunting down this lone scout at Junior. They're starting to get those chains moving. Our CHOCOCHECK are churning. And
That's CHOCOCHECK.
This isn't warm-up, buddies. This isn't warm-up.
Welcome to CHOCOCHECK if this is your first time watching them, folks. We hope you enjoy your stay.
Did he feel like forget he was pugging or something? Like, this is not a pug, CHOCOCHECK. You cannot shoot your teammates. All right. With that out of the way, though, Gas Money with the double op setup. To work within this particular one. So this is the double op setup that we've been talking about. Let's see what they got in this particular.
Carson's looking for that opening kill yet again. This double con play has been met with relative success by CHOCOCHECK. It's being thought better of Swisher, though will open the duel, goes for that mid-peek when the smoke fades. In comes the A-split, though. George is still alive on the line. In comes a counter flashbang, and Exotic is Spongy blinded. That's a good opportunity and a good opening kill here for CHOCOCHECK. Molotov goes in towards bench. Sure, no one can push through. Swisher's in towards ticket booth now. George is down low. Junior still holding the line, looking for an opening kill towards a Palace player. Nobody is out from there just yet. George continues to push on. Smoke will allow a little bit of room for the players towards triple. That's going to be Swisher really pushing up front in the area and space. Nice kill from George there. Trades out B-Wills, but Swisher is still here, and he is deadly. But he's now low on health. Exotic and Classy, two deadly players of CHOCOCHECK, trying to bring back the 2v3. Do not need to commit to this either, but they look like they want to take the fights, as is their MO.
Whoa. Peter beating an Exotic on the peak. A headshot sends him spinning, and just as Classia go down at the hands of this double op setup. Peter letting them know what he's all about. On the other hand, though, Swisher currently rocking a 13-3 scoreline, quickly reaching the top of the server. And in fact, he already is at the top of the server, but he's looking to hold on to that throne for now. And honestly, I think he's the one player who, individually minded, has been outplaying CHOCOCHECK on a couple of bases. Here for Junior, he needs to turn up in his own way, peeking over the top of the smoke. There's already creeping inside of it. But for now, opening engagement. Overall, a neutral stance.
This mid-control's been given up relatively easily by Gas Money, and I don't necessarily hate this either. You don't want to take those fights every single round against the likes of CHOCOCHECK. You know that they can punish, and they already have, and they got a couple rounds on the board for it. They know they also need to get a good amount of CT rounds on the board. So they're not going to take things too aggressively here. They're going to let CHOCOCHECK cross into them and move up through Connector, where they can buy more time too, maybe even win off of a time victory if they play their cards right. Classy looking to boost somebody up in the window, though, or maybe even have himself boosted up. It will be Classy going in. Jaspin will be the sacrifice, but Junior, he's got a read on this. He's got a bead. He knows somebody could be up here. He's waiting for that. See that light? It will get blocked out if somebody tries to cross that smoke. So Junior tries to go for that. Will not connect. Molotov's coming in. Opening kill by Pete. Traded out as George finds Swisher. The bomb, though, it's in Peter's hands. This is the problem when you wait so long. And when you set the bomb all alone, they're going to have to retake, and Peter has the information where one's coming from.
He knows. George on 7 HP. Peter wants a quick scope, though. He turns around, and that's going to cost you. Junior, on the other hand, though, has won the op duel onto Exotic. Getting swung on, loses his teammate, but the bomb gets dropped again. This time from Spongy, and it's still down in the apartments. Jaspin needs to go for frag here. He cannot go for the bomb. He has to get all the kills. Just Junior baiting, but Junior's going to be the bait that bites back. 7-2.
That's a big win by Junior. That could have flipped everything on its head and given CHOCOCHECK a massive amount of momentum. The money for Gas Money is not even that strong as it stands. Peter relegated to an MP9. Cannot have the op that's been so deadly in the last few rounds. M4s around the rest, and Junior, of course, has his AWP of choice. No bomb plant, not going to hamper CHOCOCHECK too much. They do have a decent amount of utility, too. Not like they use it all that often anyways, but it's going to be another default. 1-2-2. 2 towards A, 2 towards mid, 1 towards B. And Junior is going to win that duel with Exotic. No op to deal with in his hands. The bomb is down towards T-ramp. And creeping forward, Jaspim has to be very careful. There's a player nearby who can catch him. Oh, he spotted him. He spotted the player top balcony. The free kill for Jaspim. And, well, there's Spongy gone.
Junior swinging really wide. That's way too ambitious. And Jaspim somehow gets 2. Falling into the trap. Basically, we'll just call it a flawless round from, not necessarily from start to finish, from the middle to finish.
Yeah, since that kill went against them, it was a flawless round, and a lot of that is overextensions from Gas Money. Junior in particular, pushing so far out. Jasmine getting that second from front triple, too, is absolutely huge. Op donated over to Exotic in the meantime, but it's another half buy. Actually, it's a bit of a force buy from Gas Money. Only Junior trying to save for that op. They can win this round, Gas Money. It's not one they necessarily will lose. But that last one, I feel like it's another overextension episode from Gas Money. It's not the first round they've lost because of it either. It's the second, and it could lead to another round on the board for CHOCOCHECK because of the lack of investment. Maybe even 2 rounds because of the double eco.
Peter, though, 1D. Taking more. Lots of mags being dumped down range, but at the end of the day, it will connect on the headshot found from B-Wills. Swinging too wide. George will cut him down. Just leaving Junior 1v3. And the bomb has been set down. There's a player jumping up on top of the triple boxes. And he gets the headshot somehow. Junior going for wall bangs as well. Has player low. It's George, but the tag cannot connect for the finisher. And so CHOCOCHECK will at least advance to 4. Off the back of a Gas Money force buy. It was netting some results. It found some ground, but at the end of all of it, it did hit the floor. So has the money. Full eco has to be I guess, accepted for Gas Money. And so, well, we're probably going to see a mop up here by CHOCOCHECK. One thing is, for sure, though, Exotic needs to hold on to his AWP, and he is being hunted down at the moment. What? Yeah,
Well, I
I
agree, Junior. Dude, that was...
Huh.
I've
You
never
know
seen a
what?
Deagle wild spam that effective.
I'm just gonna let that marinate. I'm just gonna let that marinate. All right, now we're back in a Counter-Strike. It's 7-5, guys, and that was a completely normal anti-eco you guys just saw right there.
Totally.
Probably
Par
gonna
for
be
the
back
course.
in for Gas Money. We got the op out for Junior. Decent utility, but the one thing is they don't have any kits. You gotta stop them at the door if you're Gas Money.
And I think that's kind of how CHOCOCHECK plays, too. They either win the round outright or they don't win the round at all. So I think Gas Money are fighting fire with fire here, but this is the kind of proper fighting fire with fire. I'm like trying to take the random aim. Junior, though, overextended. Carson's on site. He sprays down Spongy. It's an A-site collapse. And it's really just dry aim coming in from CHOCOCHECK. Good Molotov on the Spongy, though, but even then, he's still a dead man, even with or without that utility. Spray will come to nothing, and a save might even be called for here. What a shot by Exotic onto Swisher. I'm not even too sure how he landed that, but CHOCOCHECK have woken up from a stupor, and Classy knows where the next is. Peter gets caught out from 2 different angles. Jasmine up catwalk. B-Will's trying to save, is going to be run over as well. Well, I thought he had a chance for that first kill. Not even close. CHOCOCHECK have turned the tide. The momentum is with them. And they're going to look for an 8-7 half in their favor.
Look, I just want to spend an entire round on on Gas Money's perspective, okay? And just see what it feels like to just get one tapped over and over again. I'm pretty sure Junior, for the record, was offing CT ticket and just got tapped out by it. That was an insane smoke bounce. But got just one tap by an AK. He was holding from ticket to A main and just got tapped out. That easily. And that's what unraveled the entire A-side defense, but...
Yeah, what can you do to counter that? There's nothing you can really do.
Yeah. Holding a nice standard Mirage A-side setup, and then you just have a T dry swing it into you to one-tap you.
Feels like you're playing a puzzle. There's some opportunity, though. Swisher with the Deagle kill. Tosses the Deagle over their teammate. Might even have a little bait and switch with Pete. Cannot capitalize. Has another friend with him. Smoke and Molotov, or flashbang rather, in his hands, but I actually don't hate this.
Maybe throw yourself for some extra guns. That's all I really can see you doing at this rate. CHOCOCHECK are going to go and fall back in towards the apartments. Make sure that no more AK fall into enemy hands. And yeah, holding onto the AK, I'll call that a reasonable decision. Switcher can definitely use that very well. We've already seen him use it very well. But it's been a while since then, considering this game was 7-2 to start.
And this is Mirage, too. It's a playground for CHOCOCHECK. It is arguably their best map. I don't think there's much arguing about it, but you could probably say maybe, I don't know, Vertigo? They're a good Vertigo team, too, but I think Mirage is definitely their home. There is a little contention. This is such a good map for them, especially with Exotic back in the lineup. Overpass is going to be a very good map for them as well. I was thinking, yeah, with Exotic out of the lineup, yeah, gas money. They got a legitimate shot with Exotic here. I actually have to favor CHOCOCHECK in this whole entire series. Every single map.
I mean, just we're seeing what they can do in terms of individual prowess. It's just unreal. See if we can get anything from Peter, though. Double op setup yet again for BNB in this 15th and final. Slow creep up, though. Right now, wherever BNB don't have any information, CHOCOCHECK are. Right now, they've slow walked up connector, expended little utility doing so, and now they're going to begin this little connector block. And oh yeah, that's what it's like. That's what it's like to be on the receiving end of a CHOCOCHECK player. Nicely done from B-Wills, though. Comes out, is able to respond, but look at this! What do you do against this? Tell me, Bar. Tell me, what do you do?
What can you do against such recklessness?
Oh my god.
There's nothing.
It's the first bullet out the muzzle. They're even going for the knife. Like, what is happening to my beloved game called Counter-Strike? Oh man. I hope this has gotten across to the viewer that CHOCOCHECK are a firepower team.
Yeah. And I think it's also gotten across that they don't really think too hard.
Just do it. Just go places.
Put crosshair on head, click mouse 1, easy.
You can CHOCOCHECK realize that there's like an epiphany. Maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, they were in a monastery, and they're like, you can win a round by elimination? Oh. And then they decided that will be their game plan. Win a round by elimination. Take all 5 players and you will accrue rounds one way or the other. And they're doing that with prime efficiency right now.
Yeah, this is a clinic from CHOCOCHECK. They turn it from 7-2 to an 8-7 in their favor. And now they go to the stronger side of Mirage. This is where they can really grip this game, and I would say this series, by the throat. This is where they can get the full advantage. Gas Money are getting dominated in the individual duels, and there hasn't really been any answer for them. And if you cannot answer that call, you're going to struggle, especially on a map like Mirage. And moving into Overpass 2, it doesn't exactly inspire too much confidence. So I'm very worried for Gas Money. I'm incredibly scared for them, and I don't know exactly how they're going to be able to favor much on on T side here on Mirage as well. They did not have a good T side Mirage against Boozumers, and I don't necessarily think they're going to have too much success here against a team with much more firepower.
Yeah, and we're getting a little old CHOCOCHECK classic.
Yeah.
Wait a little bit for halftime.
So welcome to the podcast.
Yeah. So welcome to the halftime podcast. I do gotta say,
2 Garretts.
Say it again. Sorry.
2 Garretts.
Yeah. Well. Okay. Well, I think we got a good illustration for this first half about how CHOCOCHECK plays CS, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now comes the CT side, where you are going to see it's like a magic show, like you're advertising some fantastical attraction, and that is Exotic, he is going to run wild on the CT side. I think he does that with an obscene consistency. Is just absolutely all every single team on the CT side of Mirage. So we're definitely going to get some of that action. That's what we're looking forward to. But yeah, we're gonna see a lot of wide swings and a lot of exotic.
And
That's
probably
what's
a
on
lot
the
of
menu.
mid pushes too.
Yep, a lot of mid pushes. Yeah, and a lot of palace pushes. You know,
Yep.
just a lot
And
of
apps pushes.
A lot of W key.
Yeah, hold W mouse 1.
Yeah.
I wonder
think,
how good CHOCOCHECK would be if they all just swapped to 5P90 pushes everywhere.
honestly, the cohesion of the unit is what matters. And
Just phalanx P90 push everywhere.
phalanx P90 assemble into what is the phalanx. What is it? There's other formations and stuff where you like put the shields over the head as like
Well,
a
I don't think
tortoise.
they can quite do the testudo.
Testudo. Ah, yes. But just advance in formation and attack. Here for now,
CHOCOCHECK don't know the word of defense.
they have a B-side stack on a pistol round. This should be going one way and one way only. Somehow Exotic gets one in that situation. Carson, though, taps away another. And Classia has been gushed down to the bench. He's still live. Not anymore. Swisher deals one out, and now it's all only Swisher. Playing out from bench, tagging up another player, but eventually goes down to the headshot and the USP of George. It is a pistol round for CHOCOCHECK.
That's both pistol. Actually, no. Gas Money
Just
won the
with-
first pistol. It was.
Yeah.
It's
It
a-
was Gas Money. Gas Money won the first pistol.
Yeah, it was Gas Money. Now, CHOCOCHECK will win this next pistol, which puts them in the driver's seat here to really run away with this half and run away with this map. MP9's on 2, FAMAS on 2, M4 for Carson. He doesn't need any utility. Utilities for chumps in his mind. Exotic's going to go aggro with a FAMAS. And it's no armor for Gas Money. They're just going to sit up top middle, and I think they were expecting an aggression up middle early on from CHOCOCHECK. They mix their timing up a little bit. And, well, since they don't know the meaning of the word defense, they're just going to go offensive here, even on CT's side. And they're just going to mop things up. Molly kill comes through. MP9 farms cash. Peter, he's going to creep forward and get a dink, but not a kill.
They're attacking the T-spawn site is what they're doing.
Yeah! Attack T-spawn site. That's the goal of the CT site.
Yeah, get yourself into an excellent post plant. T-spawn has some excellent post plant positions. You know,
We're playing
inside
Office.
Inside we're playing Office. Yes. Yeah. It's CS Mirage. All right, guys, not DE Mirage. It's CS Mirage. There we go. That's how CHOCOCHECK play. It's just the way it goes.
Look at that. 3 people towards a ramp push.
No, man.
2 go through.
All right, but finally, they actually have to play some defense here. Classia chews up one with the MP9 and is just a perfect crossfire. The flash is not layered well enough. And Carson's still live, active, runs out of bullets though. That will stop the rampage for a moment, but only for a moment. Jasmine though falls, and Classia has been isolated out towards the catwalk side. Doesn't matter. Low HP player on Spongy, and almost gets the finisher onto Junior somehow with the MP9 at that range. Look where Junior's making his move.
He's running it back to A. I wonder if George will expect this or if he'll still hold towards B. Junior knows he's on catwalk. But so there is the possibility that he could have rotated down underpass. There's a possibility he could go through.
George
cat
is
and
looking
watch this.
back.
Yep, George has the right idea. He's waiting for the sniper's nest cross, but I'm sure he's going to expect A pretty quickly. He'll know it's A in a moment. There's the moment. George, you can hear it, buddy.
Oh, yep, he knows. Coming up con here. Lots of places to guess, but he planted out towards defaulted Junior, and I think this already becomes evident where he's playing from. I actually think George has a huge advantage in this situation. I think he realizes he's in Palace. He has a smoke. Yep, Junior's so low. Like, he can't fight, but George not actually taking the wider angle. If he took the wider angle, that could have been it. He's actually just run out of time. George has an advantage in that situation.
Smoke off Palace, man.
Not even that, but he can swing wide and to the left. Instead, he goes on top of Firebox, hoping that Junior makes a mistake. But Junior's an A plus tier player. He's not gonna make a silly mistake like over swinging, and he knows that the fake is a possibility. That is a round that George should be winning.
That's around George has to win. He has all the information he needs and the smoke as well. It's not going to really matter too much to CHOCOCHECK, though. They seem to not really care too much about anything, so they're going to keep on going back at it. Full investment, exotic on a glass cannon. And Carson is actually read well by Peter, so that's a good opening kill for Gas Money here, trying to turn the tide back into their favor. But where there's aggression on one side of the map, it is mirrored on the other. Underpass push, ramp push, why not go for the pincer maneuver? And hope it ends better than Gallipoli.
Let's see. Attacking T-Spawn. We have our T-Spawn site anchor. Junior gets taken down by the entry fragger of George. I'm having too much trouble. George, entry fragging, still continuing, tapping away with a boss. The double entry comes in from George.
It's a bomb, too.
And the bomb, it does get picked up, but Spongy gets dinked down, and they losing more players everywhere. Oh, I'm going to say it again, but what is happening to my beloved game known as Counter-Strike?
NACS is one hell of an experience.
An experience. Yeah, that's what NACS is. It's not a. It's an experience-based economy.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say if it's good or bad one.
Yeah,
it just is.
It's a trip, man. It is a trip.
It really is. And it always seems to stay the same the more things change.
You know, if you ever thought we'd miss NACS just a little bit, CHOCOCHECK is always here to remind us. And they win it! You know what? I harp on this so much, but as long as they're winning rounds, you can't really say... I mean, you can say, what are they doing? But sometimes playing against principles works because no one expects you to play against principles.
And I mean, the thing is, too, the reason they play like it is because they can get away with it and win.
Yes. They're just, I mean, the individuals are just that insane. If you want to see insane individuals, just watch the last 7 rounds of the T side.
Yeah. Whether it was Exotic, whether it was Carson, or Classia, or Jazz Pimp, or George, you got a show from everybody.
Just
over
name
on
the
this
whole
other side.
lineup, man. Just name the whole lineup. That's
I
how
don't
it
know
is.
if there's hey, I'll message CJ too, even though he's not in the server. Why not?
And there's just some disgusting things like that from George. Dumping all his util, trying to buy time for the rotates. For now, CHOCOCHECK are here in full force. That opener, trying to answer back. That's nice from B-Wills to at least get some space back. The Jazz Pimp player equipment. Oh, that was the bomb Spongy was holding on to, but B-Wills again with the trade to salvage this, and Classia is low. With only a FAMAS to do this with. Blocks out from B-Wills. If you can't beat him, join him. B-Wills needs to hold on to it, though, and he can't. Carson swings out and takes them all down 12-8. CHOCOCHECK able just to muster up the manpower to take them all down.
CHOCOCHECK are really starting to run away with this. They've also kept Gas Money without any cash on hand. They're going to have nothing in terms of an investment here. A couple pistols, a bit of utility. As it stands, though, CHOCOCHECK are looking to take Mirage, their map pick, with a nice little comeback here. Took them a little bit to get started in the beginning, but they've really started to dominate after that amazing streak to end out the half that was, I believe, 6 or 7 rounds in a row. So, for CHOCOCHECK, things are kind of going par for the course, what they would expect of themselves, and Gas Money have not really been able to counter. They did have some good duels going their way in the early going, but that has since faded away into obscurity, and it has become a game that is seriously just centered around the raw aim of CHOCOCHECK on every little bit of this lineup.
All right, eco round. A couple of T-Eagles for BNB. I'm on the fence of saying whether CHOCOCHECK basically automatically win these rounds or CHOCOCHECK are prone to losing these. It depends on the day in all reality. It depends, because when you look at it, CHOCOCHECK, all right, they have insane aim. They should not be losing any sort of gunfight. Pistol shouldn't even have a chance to shoot back. On the other hand, though, see if there's a gap to find in the defense, and I think that's where BNB need to maneuver for their next gun round. It's going to be important in the context of this map, as this might just be one of their last gun rounds. Already deploying their utility, though, are CHOCOCHECK. They know that an execute And a maneuver is coming their way. And the time is now. 20 seconds remaining.
15. Finally get an opening kill. That's Junior onto Exotic. In
Okay.
comes a stomp by Swisher, and Jazzpimp will answer back bomb. Yet to go down. It's an open plant, and Junior covers. Massive pickup. Carson and Classia trying to trade things back. Aggression, and it's won by B-Wills. The Pistols. This is such a CHOCOCHECK-esque round from Bad News Bears. This is quite literally fighting fire with fire. It is a retaliatory tactical nuke coming through, and it is going to be a round that goes the way of gas money unless Carson does something incredibly insane. There's no armor, no health on 3 players as well. This is an opportunity for Carson, but that time has already ticked too far. He has no window. I think he's just trying to take guns out of their hands at this point and misses his kill. And what a response on pistols from Gas Money. Just slow, delay. Hit with 15 seconds on the clock, and just land eagle headshots.
Yeah, Exotic got a taste of, not necessarily his own medicine, but his teammates' medicine that they dole out on a regular basis. He got demolished by a deagle from A main to ticket. It connected. Alongside George underneath the palace, just got overrun by pistols. And, you know, in that particular round, CHOCOCHECK didn't know what to do past the 40-second mark. They completely relinquished all their map control and actually didn't have any information regarding what potential play there was. And instead, they, for the most part, stacked up the B site in the late round. That's all they did. And that necessary, I mean, it gave them the inability to really trade themselves out effectively, and the rotate wasn't in time. B was going to start things off onto George, who overfaces in towards Palace and punishing the aggression for once. Finally, things aren't panning out as CHOCOCHECK intend.
This is almost starting to turn into almost a mirror where CHOCOCHECK is RBG and Gas Money is CHOCOCHECK. Little mistakes are being made here and there by CHOCOCHECK right now, and it's getting capitalized upon. B-site is very vulnerable. Rotations are going to come through, but it's red shot from Swisher there onto Carson. Jazzpimp sitting there roasting his toes in the fire like a marshmallow. Exotic, he has to stand tall, and he is sat down by Pete. What a response from Gas Money. And it almost seems like, well, one team is going to frag out for a little bit here, then the other team decides it's time to shoot everybody, and then now it's flopped back to Gas Money.
Yeah, now it's CHOCOCHECK's turn to buy up Deagles. Are they going to force? It would be a CHOCOCHECK move to force here.
I don't hate it.
I wouldn't hate it either. They know what they're made of. They know what they're made of, but... Alright, one Deagle, fair enough from Carson, but...
Got a Zeus.
And a Zeus. I like something that would impress with the aim, but I think that's...
You ever tried to Zeus somebody?
You know what? You're right. That actually is a skill.
It is. It's a lot easier said than done. But if anyone could do it, it would be Classia. Or somebody on CHOCOCHECK at any rate.
Definitely.
B-stack. This is gambly, but I like it. I think it's not a bad way to play a pistol round like this. And with CHOCOCHECK, they're just trying to see if they can get lucky here. It's going to go back the way of the Bears, though, for the most part. And I think they're going to go towards A, surely. Yeah, it's an A end.
Yeah, minute remaining. They have all the mid control in the world, so they can choose a split onto a site. There could be a little paranoia that sets in. Oh, Bad News Bears are thinking this one through. A little, maybe overthinking at this rate, but I don't think it's going to cost them at all. They will pincer onto the A site, and a wave of CTs begin to permeate through the back lines. So, right now, George is going to make his... Oh, is he going to push this? Yeah, he's pushing the jungle smoke. He already has pushed the jungle smoke. Let's go down, though, as it fades. Not offer that cover anymore. Trying to boost up here. If they get a dig... If Swisher gets one digged, I will not be surprised. Right now, it's actually Carson being boosted up, so... Sorry, Carson at towards top middle. But yeah, this will end seamlessly for BNB. This will be their 11th round on the board. A couple of extra frags on the exit. Not even to be found, just all that padding for the BNB side. Gas Money walking up to 11 now. And the big deal is it's gonna have to be this rifle round coming through for CHOCOCHECK. They don't get any of their big widgets. Exotic's big widget, that is the AWP. It's gonna have to be all rifles, no kits, no head armor.
And the no head armor actually is a factor because of the double M4s over on the side of Gas Money. So, one taps can definitely exist here, or are they going to go for a full fake, just have like one guy toss utility over towards A, or two people do this whole thing? Okay, I think it's going to be a two-man fake. Send the bomb either mid or B, and literally just have two people chuck utility on A the whole time. The one problem is, this is how CHOCOCHECK.
Yeah. Well, at a minute and 30 seconds, minute 35, he's already through the apartments and pushing into TB. He's being watched for, though. They're just watching for this because BNB know exactly what they're gonna do. It's actually just comical. It is comical. And that's the second time Carson has done that this map and has been caught red-handed. I mean, all BNB are doing are just standing in place, waiting for CHOCOCHECK to push.
I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't. You know CHOCOCHECK's going to push, and if you can get them to hold down on sites, it's a lot easier to dominate them. It's what has been successful for Gas Money in the last few rounds here on the T side. It's what they've been really making their money off of. George up close and personal, mowed down by Spongy. That's a great flick onto him. The mid split's going to come through here. One through underpass is going to be Jazz Pimp. I don't think he'll be watched for, but perhaps a cat play will work out well. Off shot from Junior doesn't connect. B-Wills, though, nice little headshot there on a Jazz Pimp. Gas Money just starting to hit all their shots again. B-Wills adds another. Exotic will manage only one. Junior will take him out with the AWP. No money for CHOCOCHECK yet again, although half buy, forced buy would not be out of the cards for them. A team that loves the aggression. But we're all not at 12 apiece, and Gas Money have had more than an admirable comeback into this one. They have stalled CHOCOCHECK out. And we get to a very critical juncture where CHOCOCHECK are going to run out of racetrack here as they're the team on the back foot.
Yeah, and right now it's Gas Money who are playing a really patient game of CS, and that paid big dividends in that previous. As, I mean, everyone just kind of swung into one person or another's crosshairs, except for B-Wills, who is starting to really heat up and start hitting heads alongside Swisher in that department. And you can see this from BNB. They're going to take top mid and just hold. They're not going to push. They are just going to be creeping forward at a turtle's pace right now. They're just waiting top middle. They're looking bottom con, they're looking catwalk, trying to see if anyone's going to push. Bottom con smoke. And spamming from Peter because he's expecting players in connector. Right now, they're just playing anti-CHOCOCHECK.
Yeah, it's a hard CHOCOCHECK counter from what looks to be the looks of things here right now for the side of Bad News Bears. They've played against CHOCOCHECK before. They know exactly what to expect, and they're starting to find their counter again. The thing is, too, the best part is they're not getting overwhelmed by the aim right now. It's a lot easier to not get overwhelmed when your opposition is on deagles, whether it's CHOCOCHECK or not. They're crispy on everything, but it does give you a little more confidence knowing that you are against deagles rather than ops and AKs. Well, pistols are going to find one, but only one so far. Classia and Carson. Classia has the AK. He'll probably try and save on the B side. Bomb just needs to run towards A, get this plant down and secure an easy win. Carson will be denied his life. Classia still around, up on top, catches a nice little off angle, leaves on the cash register. Little win there on the Swisher. He's gonna go for a little bit of damage here. Get shut down by Spongy.
Yep, and that's the eco. Got him pass. But here comes the big rounds. And if Gas Money win this could just be a closed shop already. Currently as it stands, AWP for Exotic. Carson will get all his bits and pieces together, and all in all, it's one of the most complete fights you can get as a CT side. Carson going for the cat jump though, and not enough flashes. Flashes are great from George as well. and that will be actually the opener for CHOCOCHECK in this one. Peter sees the player jump up onto the balcony. Actually gonna drop off his Glacia.
That was a good opportunity for Pete, but he just wasn't able to capitalize on the Molotov on the site to really try and zone them. But it's not going to work out well. CHOCOCHECK, they're in their element with the full buy again. They have that opening kill from Carson. Man advantage to play with. They know they have the ball in their court. They have the advantage, and they just have to let gas money come to them. Let Exotic do his thing, which is dominate with the op in hand. A little bit of a counter flash setup too with Jazzpimp down towards mid, also watching underpass, so it serves as a double edge. They can have a little offensive and defensive aspect to the whole thing. And I think Junior's just waiting for Utility to go for a peek here. Exotic gets demolished though. And Junior's going to get a second on a Jazzpimp. Well then, maybe things are turning against the side of CHOCOCHECK. Nice trade there by Glacia. He's not able to get the next, but the bomb is down and time is ticking. 32 on the clock. ENB need to move. They need to bust their tails. George is a backstab here, although Peter does get one. Time continues to go. Massive kill from Spongy. Backstab! B-Will saves the day.
Oh, man. That comes down to the nice edge. CHOCOCHECK were throwing everything at that one. They dropped the bomb, and time was running low. Everyone was swinging for the fences to try and stop that bomb from getting into T's hands. But at the end of all of it, B-Wills, who was in Palace for essentially the entire round, finally makes his way down to the A side, finally gets a say in the action, and gets an angle, able to deal with the final CT. He would not have had time if he did not get that final kill. Nice edge margin, and now you get to the point where CHOCOCHECK are running thin on weaponry, economy. Maybe not confidence.
Definitely not confidence. Look what Carson has.
A Negev in round number, what? Let me count. 27 in the home stretch.
In the home stretch when you're down by 2 and you can't afford to lose.
Yeah, at this rate, it's everything is on it for CHOCOCHECK. If you lose this one, I mean, even then, the buy will not be fantastic, considering Carson invested in a Negev. I think that's the issue here. But sure, just needs to deal with these pistols, make sure his AK doesn't fall into enemy hands, and that's a hell of a shot from Glacia. I can say that again.
Yeah, and I love this audible, too, to go away from the A site. There's been a bit of utility expended. The rotations have been bought, hook, line, and sinker by CHOCOCHECK. Spongy's leading the charge into B, but the rotation is going to come back pretty soon here. Glacia, at the very least, probing towards middle. Busting in towards B is Gas Money, looking to swarm the site and confirm the win. Peter's going to hold that AK, make sure it cannot be recovered, and he has an idea to try for it. Glacia, wide swing mode now with the spray. Peter, though, overextends. 2 AKs now picked up by CHOCOCHECK. This is where they can get a little deadly on a retake. Carson has his Negev, though. And in the hands of players like Cynic, I have seen it work, but it's usually holding in towards like A Heaven on Nuke or something along those lines. Not what I would expect to see here on Mirage. Double cat play, though, could definitely do some serious damage. Op in the hands of Junior. Negev has been spotted, has not rung out yet. Exotic found. Spray from B-Wills gets the next. Negev is spraying wildly. Gotta pull down there, Carson. Maybe then he can hit the shots, but Junior's gonna take him out in the end. 15-12. Gas Money. They're back on top of the map point of the pick of CHOCOCHECK.
They're able to get out all the weaponry they can in this one, so I was mentioning that the buy would be a little bit patchy. A couple players are missing kits and head armor, but all in all, not too big of a deal at the end of the day. It's still a fairly complete buy at that. Exotic still has an AWP, and Jazzpimp going up and above. He somehow gets a dink and a frag. Keeping CHOCOCHECK in it. Where's that HE? That can finish off B-Wills. He oversteps his mark. Will land on Peter instead, and he takes the full brunt of it. Early damage is great from CHOCOCHECK, but they still are in a 4-on-4.
The health definitely favoring CHOCOCHECK, but Junior has been on point. Spongy, when he has been tested, has been great as well. They need an opening, though, and CHOCOCHECK are not overextending this time. They're not giving anything up for free. They're trying to play a little more disciplined, a lot of it more disciplined. Molotov does not connect into Sniper's Nest. Smoke, however, will. But still, the mid stall is in effect here from Gas Money. This is a problem a lot of teams fall into, is where they get stuck in top mid on Mirage, and they find it hard to get anywhere after that. Exotic is going to be a tough one to pass by. Nice little crouch slide there, though, coming in from B-Wheels. He will get by just for now. Utility coming in. Flashbangs over. George, though, one big kill. Stays alive. Utility coming out from him to help out. Classia in towards jungle. Molotov is down. George. Classia actually gets that kill onto Spongy and Palace while blind. Exotic picks up the next Classia dome. B-Wills. And, well, let's just say we're not done with Mirage just yet.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, this time around, CHOCOCHECK play a really passive setup, right? Gas Money eventually have to make their move, running with little utility into a setup. Gas Money trying to pump the brakes and make CHOCOCHECK think, oh, let's over peak. CHOCOCHECK show a level of discipline in the round that we don't really see all that often. So, finally, they're adapting their playstyle just a tad bit. Oh, you're going to pay for that, Junior. He lands a tag on a Carson, too. Junior was confident in that duel going his way, but no good at the end of it.
That's an aggressive overpeak there for Junior. Not expecting that double op setup in effect just yet. Carson holding on to that second as well. And it works out very well for Carson and CHOCOCHECK. It's something to give them a little bit of a stepping stone to try and make this one go all the way to OT. Only 2 more rounds stand in their way. The money for Gas Money is more than enough to really make it work, though. The A setup is going to come through. Smoke's going out towards jungle and con. Flashes, Molotovs, all the T's dotted, or crossed, and all the I's dotted. Molotov in towards bench as well. Final push coming through. A couple flashbangs still in hand. Still have to get past the off of Exotic. In comes Swisher charging forward. Molotov will extinguish that smoke. Spray from Swisher. Finds Exotic on the runaway. Knows there's another one in that smoke, or at least expects so. Jaspin, however, will get the first gap in the smoke as well. Classia will find Spongy trying to get that bomb down. Peter and B-Wills have too much to do here, and Peter's tagged down low. B-Wills has been dropped. Carson with the op will open and close the round. 1 round left to play in regulation. 1 round separating overtime and CHOCOCHECK, and victory and Gas Money.
At the moment right now, I feel like Gas Money getting a bit frazzled in that situation. Swisher was desperately going for the frag there instead of being comfortable with the one that he got initially. Wasn't able to find George inside the smoke, and he paid for it with whatever advantage and advanced positioning Gas Money had in that post plant. If he simply held on, he could have protected his planter and maybe gotten themselves a post plant up and running, but it never came to fruition. And so it comes down to round number 30. Gas Money to bring this map of Mirage over the line. This won't be the first time CHOCOCHECK would find themselves in overtime today. In the past hour, the last map they played was Mirage, and it went to overtime just about an hour, 15 minutes ago. Something of that sort. CHOCOCHECK in a very familiar spot right now.
Yeah, CHOCOCHECK, you can never count them out of a map or out of a match. They're always able to claw their way back in with incredible tenacity. Lots of mid-presence again from Gas Money, but this mid-presence hasn't exactly been working out for them. Pete looking for something. Op still in the hands of Junior, and he will not face Carson in towards apartments this time. Carson's not even there anymore. He's out towards Sniper's Nest, keeping an eye on things as Exotic posts up ticket booth, as is his customary position. Swisher has gone by the smoke, but George gets one very aggressively. That's a massive pick coming in from George. Snorts Molotov. Carson's low. Op coming in. In comes the retake. Flashes. Classy is going to hold down on sight. 1 swift kill. 5v3 in the favor of CHOCOCHECK. Looking to put this one to bed. Great trade by Peter. But Jasmine has actually gone 1 for 1. Opportunity now arises.
Oh, and even Peter turning up with the triple kill. Junior's going to get the bomb down and escape. And it comes down to Junior. No good. Exotic on the end of things. And there will be no post plan even assembled. We are going to overtime, Boggs.
Well, I'm getting flashbacks to that RBG CHOCOCHECK Mirage, where CHOCOCHECK did come back on the CT side and claw their way forward. Gas Money It's coming down to MR316K if I remember things right. They can get double ops on CT side, both of these two. And it kind of is going to come down to who hits those shots quicker. There's going to be no pistol round lulls. There's going to be no ecos. It's going to be gun round after gun round after gun round. And in those gun rounds, the advantage has sat with CHOCOCHECK.
Yeah, I think CHOCOCHECK have been... I mean, they were menaces on the T side, and during this little comeback spree of 3 rounds in a row, they forced out overtime to bring it all the way through. And in all honesty, I feel like Bad News Bears got a little bit of the tilt getting to them in certain situations. And well, giving up openers on a very consistent basis. If you remember, Junior just swinging into an angle he knew an op was playing from. He tried to go for the pick, but it's never going to really favor him.
Yeah.
Gas Money, I'll get him put on the ropes here.
Yeah, it's definitely rough right now, and I think for Gas Money, they need to win this map. If they lose it, Mental's going to be shot, and CHOCOCHECK are going to have that advantage going to a map that they're still very strong on in Overpass. I've seen CHOCOCHECK have some very good performances on that map. So I think for Gas Money, you really want to perform well here and stymie CHOCOCHECK's rise to power and rise to strength in the series. You have to stop them early. You cannot allow them to build upon themselves and their earlier successes. And surprisingly, CHOCOCHECK only want to go for the single op to start things off, and Bad News Bears have gone for the double op. Now, I don't hate this because Pete has that secondary, and we've seen them do some great work on the T side with those 2 ops. B was with the opening kill into George 2, getting too big for his britches out towards Palace. That's a great start here for Bad News Bears. They just need to scale off of that and actually work things into their advantage.
Yeah, and there you go. Just waiting for the aggression. Peter has been insane on the rifle this series. Keep that in mind. He bought the secondary in this one because he could. Picks up the rifle and does a star dirty with that. Now re-aggression towards middle. Man situation. Oh! Oh no! Carson lined up with Swisher and absorbs the headshot. That would have finished him. That definitely would have gotten the kill. And now it's Exotic in a 1v5. Instead of going 1 for 1, it's a 0 for 2. And overall, it's a 0 for 5. A flawless statement made in round number 1 of OT.
And that's a good round to win, too, to get that 1 on the board on the T side. It makes things a little easier once the side swap comes through. I'm expecting a deadly double op between Peter and Junior once we have that second half coming through of OT1 because, well, MR316K, you can essentially double off every single round. So I think they'll probably go for it. Exotic takes a shot out middle, will drop towards underpass. Gas Money moving things around a little bit, not being as mid-centric, which I think is a good thing for really a Parliament team. And we've seen Gas Money get caught out by it. Junior takes a shot out towards Ticket Booth. George, however, will deliver the Molotov. Spot that 1 towards the top of Tetris as well. Swisher caught out in middle. That's the problem when you take those mid fights. It's a little more advantageous for the CT side these days when they have a collapse setup in effect. Lots of utility raining into the A side, though, telegraphing this take. Big old neon sign saying we're coming here is up, and all 5 are rotated in for CHOCOCHECK.
Smokes going in towards top connector. That has actually missed the mark. Jasmine will definitely be keen on exploiting that. Trying to actually work a one-way on it. And at the same time, Classy up on the stairs. Swings up top. Takes 1 and a dink. And maybe another. And it's a wash. CHOCOCHECK coming with the crossfires. All 4 players are here for BNB. They try to slow play the execute, but that's just like, okay, CHOCOCHECK is going to fully rotate in. They're not going to try anything special on that.
No, and you're not going to win a 4v5 against CHOCOCHECK most of the time. You're going to have a bad time when you try it, and it goes the way of CHOCOCHECK as you might expect. So for Gas Money, things are going to get a little more difficult for you. You're going to have a lot more work to do. You're going to have a lot more effort when you get to that second half if you cannot get this next round on the board. Double op is in effect again, Junior and Peter. 1 holding all the way back in towards Hall and Apartments is going to be Junior. B-Will's in towards Palace, looking for another aggressive piece of information gathering for CHOCOCHECK, but it's only going to be mid-hold here. Exotic with that first kill. Swisher goes a little too late after that flash, and Exotic's not even going to stick around either. He's just going to fall back towards the B site and rotate around. Little jump peek, I believe, has spotted Junior. At the very least, he has an inkling out on balcony. Gun barrel has shown.
Oh, man.
Junior, can he creep by? Knows there's one on site. Caught out by a great flash from Carson. Or rather, classy. It's Carson to put the finishing blow. And things are not going well for Gas Money in this round.
Oh, they're just slow walking up Cat. Player on top of Van gets blasted by Spongy, but there's still Carson inside of the apartments. They should know this. They should know that Carson was the man that got that frag on a Junior, and at the same time, Jasmine putting pressure on from Market. Good molly to keep him forced back. Peter's going to get a molly of his own. Actually, it goes just a bit wide. Peter goes down to 28, though, and I think that's going to spell the end of it, unless Peter wants to come up with a vintage moment. It's not going to happen. Carson jumps out, takes him down, and it is CHOCOCHECK, a victory, and the VM.
It's not a CHOCOCHECK game if there's no VM. And also if they don't, not defuse the bomb for a while.
We'll take the time with this.
There we go. Second half upcoming, only 2 rounds necessary for CHOCOCHECK to punch their ticket into map number 2 with map lead here from Mirage. Gas Money need to even bring it to overtime number 2. And things are not going to get any easier for Gas Money. We've seen how explosive CHOCOCHECK can be on the T side. We've seen how good Exotics Op is. We've seen how prolific the rifles of Klasky and Carson are in particular. It's not going to be an easy day here for Gas Money. They're going to have to try very hard to not overextend. Something that caught them off very often in that first half was overextensions, trying to get refrags. CHOCOCHECK punished them every single time.
Yeah, and that's the difficulty rides. Sometimes you just want to be drawn into the fight if you're Gas Money. Sometimes you go a bit too slow. You have to nail the pacing against a team like CHOCOCHECK, where sometimes if you go too slow, then CHOCOCHECK are just going to fully rotate in and not even give a care in the world about the opposite side of the map. They're going to tunnel vision onto you and you alone. And on the other side of things, when again facing off against the T side, CHOCOCHECK are either playing passive or moving hyper aggressively. So sometimes on the CT side, you have to kind of feel out and you never really know what's coming is the big deal. So something new every round gets thrown your way, it feels. So you have to keep on your toes for that on the CT side. Starting off the defense, or I guess second off on the defense. Now, Bad News Bears down by 2. For those that are unaware, it's the race to 19. Here, first to 19. CHOCOCHECK are 2 away from taking map number 1. Bad News Bears still in with a chance with 3. CHOCOCHECK only need 1 to guarantee another overtime.
And CHOCOCHECK don't want another overtime either. They want to finish this one, move on to map number 2 as soon as possible. I say as soon as possible. We know they'll take a while in between maps, but as we go through here, the round needs to be won by either of these two sides. A little bit of a boost potentially from the jungle. Sprays from George, not going to do anything really onto the player and ticket. That is Spongy. Molotov will get extinguished as well. The boost does not find a mark, though. That's something Junior needs to hit. That one will, though. And that's a big kill on the Glacia. George spraying away, cannot find another victim. Flash is going through, no bomb plant yet for the side of CHOCOCHECK. A flawless half would secure victory here for the Bad News Bears. For Gas Money, they've yet to allow a bomb plant in this round. Nice little taps, but Swisher finds Exotic in the meantime. Carson and George, last 2, flash bang over, met by Peter and Swisher. Almost a team ace coming through from Gas Money, and they tie things up at 17 all. A great hold coming through from them. CHOCOCHECK got a little too fancy, perhaps, trying to be a little special, and they cannot get by Gas Money.
I think it was actually a little too simple. They did not have a lurk on that play at all, so when they get stalled out, there's nothing they can really fall back on. Once those smokes fade, it is just open season onto the site, and CHOCOCHECK get caught in the crossfire, turns to a flawless round. Oh, big flash in though, Carson. Oh, B-Will's very, very lucky to be able to save his teammate there. Junior could have been a dead man. He was full white, but B-Wills was ready for that connector smoke play. And it feels like B-Wills is the most aware member of the Bad News Bears at times. He's looking like he's the man who's able to actually solve the CHOCOCHECK formula. The one player who kind of has the touch on the game. Switcher's had his moments, but it's been B-Wills who's really been in control and hasn't really been picked off often.
He's not overextending, I think is the biggest thing. He's playing very simple Counter-Strike. He's not giving anything over. He's playing the odds. And it's definitely something that has its merits and demerits, but it's working off well. Junior and Peter, 2 quick kills, gonna grab match point yet again. Or map point, I should say. Bad news Bears. 2 kills away here in this one. B-Will's great little play, and he'll get the 2nd kill on a George as well. They just need to convert this next round, and it'll be their map going to their own pick of overpasses. Map number 2, CHOCOCHECK, one last ditch by Exotic. I believe he's been dropped and off. There's plenty of money to shuffle that around. He also has his Zeus, so, you know, very serious right there.
You know, I think that's a UI bug for the moment. He does have an off. But he also has bought a Zeus up in this particular round. So he's not only running with that. No worries there. But there is worries here, as Carson's already fallen, and if you blinked and you missed it, I don't blame you, because what should have been CHOCOCHECK in a comfortable position, they were up by 2 at the half, are now staring down a map point, and they are in a 3v5 with no map control. If there's any team to come back from the situation, I'm not gonna lie, it's CHOCOCHECK.
Oh yeah.
They can break open a site with minimal losses, but that's exactly what they're gonna need to do here. Swisher is going to be at the forefront of this to hold down the line.
Nice little scope there for Swisher. Flash will not blind him. Peter pops another. In class, he's in a 1v5. He's been completely spotted in, zoned out, utility even more than telegraphing his position. B-Wills grabs the last, and it will be Gas Money in the very end of things, claiming victory over CHOCOCHECK. It was not pretty, but they do convert it in the end in overtime with a flawless CT half. And a good showing here from Gas Money on the map of choice of CHOCOCHECK.
The one thing I do want to say, though, is we saw what CHOCOCHECK is meant to do. They are built and constructed just one tap you out of rounds. And I think there was an obscene amount of flawless rounds in this game, going both ways, where we saw Bad News Bears able to clean up entire sites on that CT side, where CHOCOCHECK were completely locked out, especially during those 2 overtime affair rounds. But also, early on the T side of CHOCOCHECK, we saw them absolutely stomp out Bad News Bears in their site execute gunfights. Honestly, the scales kept tipping back and forth, but eventually I feel like CHOCOCHECK might have lost their mojo a little bit when it came to the individual fights and the awareness, their sort of touch on the game, which is just the way they play. It kind of fell out of their hands. But, well, now we go to map number 2. What's your thoughts on Overpass?
Overpass, if Gas Money can play like they did on Mirage, they'll win this one in regulation, about 16-11, 16-12. If they cannot play like they did here on Mirage, we're going to a 3rd. And keeping up this level of play for Gas Money is not going to be easy. Keeping up with that level of firepower that CHOCOCHECK can display at a moment's notice is never an easy task, even from the likes of Gas Money, players like Junior and Swisher and B-Wills in particular. But I think that Gas Money with the momentum have the advantage going into it.
Yeah, and so Gas Money with momentum moving into their map pick, it's looking like a good sign. They got the rolling start. Can they close it down in 2, or will we see a 3rd brought out in this series? We're going to throw it to a bit of a break, and we'll be back with Overpass.